Today, we become legends.
Hey, my name's Enter, welcome back to the channel. Over the years, Smite's Pro League has had its fair share of defining moments. When teams go undefeated to when teams F6 at 1 minute in. From amazing individual plays to clutch whole team fights, these are the moments and plays we watch SPL for, and this video will chronicle 10 of the craziest ones. Quick shout out to Betty Smite, who does a ton of Pro League content on YouTube that you can't really find anywhere else. I had most of these moments already ingrained in my brain, but for the last 2 or 3 to make it a 10 list, I had a browse of his channel to find some remaining hidden gems. Definitely check him out if you're interested in SPL content, but without further ado, let's jump in. So the best logical place to kick this list off would be one of the oldest legendary plays in professional Smite, GameHunter's Vamana pentakill in the Smite launch tournament 2014. Roll the clip.
To farm if he wanted to go depth gloves, he certainly could. There's a blink initiation, cataclysm, Cubo Fred thrown to the back. Could they get another kill? Crushing Wave comes out, he's still alive. There goes the dunk. Judgment has been brought down on him, and Cubo goes down already.
Oh, but Lashes is gonna pay for this. He's gone too far. Fearless is gonna be good, but not in time. Tricksnake's now in trouble. Desert Fury's gonna be good. How did he escape with that health? That man on his last legs, the best on no legs. The GameHunter on giant legs is chasing him down.
Knock out from Shockwave, Jingle Bang on the ground. Zatman goes down.
Kill.
Look from above, the skies come down.
Quadra kill.
He's got the kill. Go for ShadowQ. The Penta kill. There's a Penta kill. 11, 1, and 4. This is why he is known as God Hunter. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're at home or you're here in Atlanta, Georgia, you gotta give it up for the baby Game Hunter and his pentakill in the launch tournament of Smite.
Damn, dude, I get chills every time I watch this play. Just something about the casting from Drybear and DM Brandon here is so special. The synergy was clearly there at the time, with DM basically kill counting in the background as Drybear commentates what's actually happening in the play, culminating in them both just exploding when Vamana gets his pentakill, dropping all 5 members of Team Dignitas. It also adds to the hype that this was the first ever pentakill in any Pro Smite tournament ever, which is probably why the casters were so ridiculously hyped for this one. Sticking with the 2014 launch tournament though, check this shit out.
Coming out from ShadowQ, a little bit premature. Kraken coming through. Zatman will fall. ShadowQ in a bit of trouble as well. Lasses pumping damage into Badger. Badger forced out of the fight. Chain Lightning doing work as well. ShadowQ juking Reels. The Reels can't find their hit. ShadowQ still alive. Whirlpool gonna miss. Best detonates. Down goes Reels. ShadowQ still with the juke. One play from ShadowQ. Got the twig. 3 stacks. He's gonna fall here as well. Ultimate. Detonate. Down falls. Got the twig. And Dignitas takes the fight.
Man, what a crazy individual play. ShadowQ basically saved that entire fight for his team with these galactic jukes on Reels and her and Twigs Poseidon. Buying infinite time for the best on Zeus to just free cast and win the fight. With Scylla on the rotation, this fight could have gone very differently if ShadowQ dies quickly here. Once again, the casting is out of this world from Drybear.
Ultimate. Detonate. Down falls. Got the twig.
Literal chills, dude. But taking a break from old professional Smite to give some respect to the new blood. The Oni Warriors 14-set undefeated streak in the first phase of Year 10 SPL absolutely has to be mentioned here. Never before have we seen a team be so dominant as to win every set they played in a phase. And by proxy, never has a team so dominant been 3-0'd in such a fashion as the Warriors were 3-0'd by Ferryman in the Summer Masters LAN. While not necessarily one moment, I simply had to mention the Warriors as they hold the title for the longest undefeated streak in professional Smite history, and this set where Ferryman dashed their hopes was nothing short of incredible to watch. We all know that many of the Ferrymen are players that really show up in tournament formats and less so in the regular season, but to see them confidently 3-0 and as their undefeated team is extremely impressive. So while Warriors hold the longest undefeated streak in terms of sets, the original Epsilon roster, who also played under Panthera and NRG, hold the title perhaps more impressive. The only team to ever win the World Championship back-to-back with the exact same roster.
Make a comeback, but just in the wrong spot. You try and use the ultimate, still not able to get quite far enough away. Variety had such a good game, but that's a tough death there.
Well, there's 4 members left, and into the sky goes adapting. The ultimate's weighing down. The Titan is under siege. Energy are looking to be world champions again, and they've done it. Long live the king! And once again, the king is Europe!
Again, this isn't really one single moment, but I just couldn't talk about defining Pro League moments without mentioning Epsilon. By at least one metric, they're the strongest team relative to their peers that has ever existed in Smite. Of course, there are multiple ways to measure that, as we just saw with the Oni Warriors, but to this day, no team has ever accomplished what Epsilon, later NRG, did back in Season 2 and 3. Some have come close, but none have claimed a back-to-back title with the same roster, and with how often teams swap out players nowadays, I don't think we'll ever see this again. The Kings had a shot this year, but after replacing Genetics, it's no longer the exact same roster they won World Season 9 with. Adapting Demi, Emil, Irafa, and Yamin, only one of which is still playing competitive Smite, will probably forever hold this impressive title. Okay, that was a lot of long and meaningful stuff about which team is definitively the GOAT of Smite. Let's get back to basics and watch some DeathWalker tier. Roll the clip.
Team fight as Zeros has lost his buff. The goal now, maybe go back in. That is unreal from DeathWalker. That is disgusting. As Hex Mambo have found the initiation, and it's DeathWalker at the forefront. Solar Scarabs decimated from the map, and it is Hex Mambo taking game 1.
So after watching this again for the video, I realized it's only a 4-man Fearless. I thought it was 5 when I first watched it, but don't let that diminish the absolute decimation that DeathWalker dealt out to the entire Solar Scarabs roster here. The fight was all but lost before this absolute hero play from the SCC solo laner. These kind of moments are what hypecasters live for, and Mifflin, honestly one of the goats of hypecasting, absolutely delivers here, just like DeathWalker delivered basically 5 people into the jaws of his teammates on Hex Mambo. I absolutely adore DeathWalker's bravado and shit talking in this clip as well. He talked shit before the first set and Scarabs promptly 2-0'd Hex Mambo and sent them into the losers bracket, but to come all the way back to grand finals and pull this play out of his ass in game 1 is absolutely one of the pro Smite plays of all time. Switching from a play to roster drama though, I simply couldn't make an SPL defining moments vid without mentioning the recent drama around Barraccudda being dropped from the Ravens in favour of Zatman. Barra has basically been the golden boy of Smite's esports scene since literally Season 1, playing in every Worlds to date and an all-round lovable guy. Zatman is sort of the dark side of Barra in that he has also been around forever but takes on a bit more of a bad boy persona and talks more shit in one match than Barra has in his whole career. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, I personally love trash talk and rivalries as long as it doesn't go too far, but for not only Barra to be out of the SPL, but for his replacement to be essentially his dark side counterpart led to an explosion of support for both sides of this roster change. The ensuing Twitter drama and jabs taken by both sides was hilarious to watch, and saying farewell to SPL Barra is something we all knew would happen eventually, but it doesn't make it any less sad when it happens. Truly a defining moment in Smite esports. So we've had a lot of legendary individual plays so far, with DeathWalker's Fearless, GameHunter's first ever Pro Smite Pentakill, and ShadowQ's Galactic Dukes, but let's switch up the gears a little bit and look at a good old meaty team play from Enemy Esports against Luminosity in Season 3. Roll the clip.
Playing the game, it means 76 minutes, we're gonna just walk around the jungle, catch one person. Look, Boosh has no idea. Enemy, they might even go for the cheese win. I mean,
Oh, Enemy, they're grouped up.
they could just sneak this Phoenix. I mean, this is Tom Clancy status. The teleports in and
Marauder's gonna come over here.
No way.
Here
They're actually
comes
going to
Enemy.
end.
They're gonna skip the Phoenix. They're going right for the
Disgusting.
Titan. Here's the Chaos
Disgusting.
Ultimate. Ladies and gentlemen, the surprise win from Enemy. Luminosity had no idea.
I'm
Enemy
done.
takes it.
Man, what a nail-biter of a play. I vividly remember being on the edge of my seat watching this live back in Season 3, as this game had gone on for 76 minutes at this point of play. One of the longest ever Pro Smite matches to that point. Enemy were up 1-0, so winning this match meant they take the set, and with a 76-minute stalemate in the late game, something had to be done. Enemy's team captain Pain Diviond essentially molded this roster of mostly rookies around himself and made all the shot calls, so this was clearly his call, and boy was it the right decision in the end. I can just imagine the fear in the hearts of the Luminosity roster as they first see all 5 members of Enemy show up on their Phoenix, and if the recalls had been a few seconds faster, it's possible this game goes the other way. But that's not the timeline we live in, and this play will go down in history as one of the most nail-biting Smite matches of all time. So that's a great team play, but the SPL also has its fair share of the complete opposite. Roll a clip.
Remember, they're all swinging around the left-hand side. This is going to be an invade. It looks like it. They do have the Sobek to set up potentially Snoopy for a pluck as well. That's going to be a lot of chain CC, which also during the double chain CC, Keegan can get off a lot of damage with the silence as well.
Well, the disappointing thing is at the moment...
Look at their boots, though. They got Talaria boots and Traveler shoes, one Sprint, one Curse, and 3 Sunders. This is definitely a strategy that they've been kind of experimenting with, I'm assuming.
Yeah, experimenting with, totally. Good way of putting that, my friend. Experimenting with. Well, we'll see how this experiment works out for them.
This is gonna
could
either work brilliantly or crash and burn right here.
1 Curse, 1 Sprint, 3 Sunders.
I mean, in theory, this should work, right? Because you have a lot of chain lockdown CC, a lot of burst damage with the triple Sunders as well,
right now,
which will amplify the damage. And you have a lot of mobility with all the shoes.
You're too nice, Tony, because at the moment, all I'm seeing is they were salty after game 1 and the situation there, and now they're trying something crazy for game 2.
Well, I mean, if this works, if they can get all 3 kills in the dual lane position, then they're going to set themselves up really beautifully for the rest of the game.
And if they don't, totally, what's going to happen?
Then they're going to lose very quickly.
Well, let's find out. The buff has already been started, sorry, beginning to be started here at the back end. Immediately they're going to charge in. Ionic gonna lead the way. Is the sprint been popped yet? No, it hasn't, but they've recognized it already. They're already trying to run away here. The curse hits, but it was immune immediately by Hurricane, and the pluck does not go through. Purification was used by Hurricane, and then we just return the damage from Stellar Burst, so this invade doesn't work. Meanwhile, they've not got a single buff in the jungle yet. 4 men now, 5 men still group in mid lane. They're not going to lane. They're still trying to pressure Hurricane in the mid, so Snoopy dives in deep. He's going to die to the tower there, and now on top of that, we're going to see Dust actually pick up first blood for them, but then...
During all that process...
Is that worth?
No, that was not worth, because during that whole process, speed buff and blue buff were taking from Sword, and now they pushed it out the solo lane, and now they're getting their own blue buff and speed buff in return. Now it looks like EnVyUs is still grouping up into the solo lane, where Baskin and Homie's currently level 2, just hitting at level 3 against 5 level 1s.
So 5 level 1s, there's Berserker Barrage doing a ton of damage against all the targets. So Bludgeon's going to hit 3 people and smash down 1. Well, he's going to get plucked around, and meanwhile everybody else is continuing to farm up as Baskin's getting 4-manned at the moment, but Baskin's still alive, finds the second kill as well. Bludgeon again hitting 3!
Oh my God!
Another 1! All right, okay, yeah, I'm done. Like, I don't even know what EnVy was doing there.
He just 1v4'd at the end there. He was level 3 against 4 level 1s after Homie Faye died, and now Baskin's in a position to just destroy in the solo lane.
Credit to Baskin for what he did there in that situation to be able to pick up the kill. Snoopy goes back in again, but this is farcical right now from Soul. They just started surrendering. Well, they surrendered as well.
I'm speechless. I'm actually speechless right now.
So, for you guys at home, I just want to apologize now for that get set because I did not know about that, but that is atrocious. I don't even know where you come from or what you play, but that is just embarrassing to do that in a competitive game. Game 1, I completely understand the issues they had, but Game 2, doing that, I mean, I understand the joke around let's try and invade and do something funny, but throw your lives away and surrender in 1 minute?
Not the SPL's proudest moment for sure, and these players did receive a fine and suspension for this terrible sportsmanship. For context, EnVyUs' solo laner disconnected in Game 1 of this set, and for some reason the game wasn't allowed to be paused to wait for his return, causing a loss and making Envy play with Dust, a last-minute substitute in solo lane for this second match. So it is completely understandable for the Envy roster to be frustrated here, but this was not the way to handle it. It does make for a funny clip to rewatch though, as Hindu Man instantly realizes what's happening when they all buy Talaria boots, while Anatoly, a relatively new caster at the time, tries to play it off as if Envy are going for some Giga Brain invade strat, when in reality they just went all in, it went horribly, and they F6'd at 1 minute in, which is absolutely against SPL rules as you can't surrender before 10. Truly a defining pro Smite moment. Sticking with EnVyUs for the moment, albeit under a completely different roster, I wonder why. Yep, I'm gonna beat the dead horse that is 667 one more time in my videos. Weekend, if you're watching, I hate to do you like this, but I blame you for making such an iconic Smite esports moment happen. How could I not include 667 in a video like this? For those unaware, EnVyUs was at the time the top team in NA and just behind Epsilon in EU, which we've talked about already. They were winning the vast majority of their sets. If I remember correctly, they were something like 19-3 at the time. This is just to preface the fact that this was not a bad team or a bad player at the time, quite the opposite. However, that doesn't change the fact that at over 20 minutes into this pro Smite match, one of the undisputed top junglers at the time on the second best, potentially best team in the SPL had 667 player damage. Odin's Bird Bomb does almost that much at one cast in this point in the game. But hey, let's not beat this dead horse any further, as I have a whole video on the full story behind 667 if you're interested, link below. And finally, let's close this video out with a get getting banned from Pro Smite speedrun. Back in 2013 when Smite was in beta, before the SPL even existed and before even the launch tournament where GameHunter did his pentakill speedrun, a player by the name of EMC2 joined the tournament at PAX 2013. But instead of converting energy to mass, he converted his time and energy into a lifetime competitive ban from Smite before the Pro League even existed. Yep, it turns out that EMC was using wall hacks for this tournament, the first ever instance of hacks being displayed on the public stage of Smite. To show that they refuse to tolerate hacks and set an example going forward, EMC2 was given a lifetime competitive ban from Smite. But that's all I've got for 10 moments that define competitive Smite. From amazing plays to trash plays to lifetime bans, drama, and more. Any other moments I should have mentioned in the video? Leave them down below and perhaps I can make a part 2 to this video if there's interest. Catch you guys in another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.